Hi, Rosabelle. How's it going?
Hi, good. Sorry, I missed your call. I was getting into the Uber. Now I'm in the Uber.
Well, where are you going?
I think it's the new Wes Anderson film, the Phoenician scheme or the
Hmm.
PH something scheme. Benicio del Toro's in it.
Are you a fan of Wes Anderson?
Not really.
I'm calling you for the hit podcast Flightless Bird.
The podcast, you can
I,
say that again.
I can't, I'm struggling to get my words out today. This whole day's been a struggle. We're doing an episode about Subway, the restaurant chain.
Uh-huh. I have a really sweet Subway story. A friend of mine was once telling me about how her granddad was really excited about this new cafe that had just opened up down the road.
Hmm.
And he was like, it's so great. They like make everything fresh on site. They really listen to what you want. And she was really curious. And she was like, what is it called? And he was like, it's called Eat Fresh. And eventually she visited him and he took her and it was a Subway. But I thought it was really sweet.
Eat fresh is a good slogan.
It is a good slogan. And it's kind of, is it real? How fresh is this? Are their ingredients? You going to investigate this?
I'm going to investigate it because I think it's like it is amazing they've made like the idea of Subway is it's healthy and but it's a sandwich which is just a lot of bread which isn't all that healthy. So how have they managed to do that?
Because of all the lettuce.
All the
Yeah.
lettuce. If you just tell people eat fresh enough, eventually they will think they're eating fresh. If McDonald's said eat fresh for like
Yeah.
decades, I think the American public would be like, "Oh my god, this is so fresh."
I mean, the thing is, they're not actually saying that their food is fresh. They're just saying you should eat fresh. So
What do
what's the
you
problem?
what do you mean?
They're just saying eat fresh, but they're not saying that their food is fresh. Well, it's like just do it. It's not like that's just like this. That's just like their motto.
Yeah, you sound like your Subway's lawyer being taken to court. It's nothing to do with our food, it's just in general.
Fresh is all subjective, isn't it? Like, you know.
I just realized that I didn't write an intro for this episode at all. It's just I go to my laptop to read it. I'm like, I'm David Farrier. Got stranded in America. I mean, what is it to say except this is a Subway episode?
Eat fresh.
Eat fresh.
Imagine this. The best pasta sauce you have ever tasted sits abandoned on a plate. Wasted sauce. That is a tragedy. If only you had used Barilla al Bronzo pasta. Its bronze-cut texture holds your sauce and scoops up every last drop. The Italians call that scarpetta. Capture sauce the Italian way. Barilla al Bronzo. Click or tap the banner to find out more.
Flightless, flightless, flightless bird touchdown in America. I'm a flightless bird touchdown in America.
Hey, Rob, how are you?
Great. Great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm still reeling. I don't want to do too many tangents, but I'm still reeling from the Nathan Fielder rehearsal season 2 finale.
Yeah, you're really dating this recording too by saying that.
I am. I'm really dating it because we're recording this so far in advance.
Not so far in advance, but you've got some travel coming up. So
Yeah, a little bit in advance. All I'll say is, if you haven't watched it, you should watch it. Do we have any admin that we need to do? I feel like we have a few little things.
We've got live shows coming up.
They're close.
We've got July 3rd in Denver
Mhm.
at the Cervantes Masterpiece Ballroom.
It sounds amazing. I've never heard such a grand name
I
for a
know, it's a
venue in
pretty
my
grand
entire
name.
life.
And then July 10th in Chicago at Park
Yes.
West. So get tickets to both of those and bring people with you.
Yeah, please do. It's flightlessbirdpod.com, flightlessbirdpod.com. That has all our live dates on there. And also, I'm getting lots of suggestions for guests. But if you haven't emailed in your ideas, flightlessbirdchat@gmail.com. Love any kind of insights into those two cities.
And these are probably going to be the last shows of the summer.
They probably
So
will be.
if you're anywhere near either of these cities,
come and see us.
Come and see us.
Please. And something I always forget to say as well, if you haven't already, if you can like and subscribe. I know it sounds like a joke when you say that now, but it does really help us get prominence on things. So Spotify, you've been very good to us. We've got so many ratings, like too many ratings. It's crazy.
Not too many. Keep doing
You can
it.
never keep doing it.
Yeah, no, just-
Apple Podcasts, just the act of subscribing and liking, and a bonus is actually writing a little like review or rating. That just helps us in the weird algorithm. It kind of like pushes us up and helps people find us.
Ideally, a good rating.
A good rating is good.
A good rating.
You go
High
for
stars.
5.
Yeah.
5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Don't do 1 out of 5s. If you're going to give us a 1 out of 5,
Just maybe
I
don't,
would say
don't do it.
it. Yeah.
And YouTube. We do have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, we do.
We make videos of these.
We do. We are YouTubers now.
YouTubers.
And again, all those links are on flightlessbirdpod.com. You can see our beautiful set that Rob has. This is a beautiful studio.
I really want to get one of those YouTube plaques that they send you.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how many subscribers we need to get one.
Please subscribe to us on YouTube so we can get our plaque.
Yeah, maybe like a couple YouTube accounts if you have them.
It's funny. I always see those like I see people like they have like Rotten Tomatoes sends it out once you're certified fresh.
Yeah,
and like all these different things. TikTok, YouTube. We'll get there eventually.
What
Just another like 20 million subscribers, and we'll be in the running.
Know what the benchmarks are probably not super attainable.
No. But we got to try.
Podcast, but
we got to try.
Let's get there.
Subway sandwiches.
Are you a sandwich guy?
I would say I am 50-50. If I'm in the mood for a sandwich, I will happily eat one. But I'm not like I must have a sandwich. It's not, I would take, as far as a quick meal, I would take a burger or a pizza over, or a taco over a sandwich.
Are sandwiches a big thing in New Zealand?
I feel like...
Or are they as prominent as they are here? Because when we did this and we were looking for Subways to go to, there were so many everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, you put it in your map and it's like there are like 20 dotted around like any American
within
house.
5 miles of
It's
us.
insane. Yeah, so in New Zealand, obviously, we have Subway. My wonderful mum, Sam, would like pack me a school lunch and there'd be a little sandwich in there. Usually ham and cheese or Vegemite, of course, because I'm a New Zealander. But no, we don't have the same affinity for sandwiches in New Zealand as you do here. Like America seems to take it very seriously. I mean, ages ago, we did a Flightless Bird on sandwiches, and I realized like how much the culture here loves a sandwich.
So what are your go-to sandwich places now that you're in a country that loves sandwiches so much?
See, the only places I know are Subway and Jersey Mike's.
Oh, Jersey Mike's. I made a list and I forgot Jersey Mike's.
Oh, okay. Because I don't know where to go outside of that here. Like, what have you got?
So do you know about Quiznos?
No.
I don't know how much they're around anymore. I think there was like the big 3.
Okay.
Were Quiznos, Jimmy John's, and Subway.
Okay, and how do those 3 differ?
They're all fairly different sandwiches. I feel like Quiznos and Subway, I might get in trouble from quiz heads, I think. They were similar, except Quiznos would toast.
Oh, they'd
their
toast
sandwiches.
them.
That was their like big thing, was that they would toast them.
Because obviously with Subway you can choose to toast, but those ones like always toasted.
And then I feel like Jimmy John's to me was, their big thing was speed. They'd make them very fast. But it felt like a lighter sandwich to me.
Right.
Like it actually felt healthier than, because sandwich is not exactly a like light lunch.
Well, no, there's so much bread. I mean, that's the thing about Subway that's remarkable is they've somehow managed to get this idea of them being so healthy. But it's a sandwich.
It's meat and cheese and maybe some veggies and 2 pieces of bread.
The thing I find interesting about a sandwich is that certainly in America, what I've seen, like you do pack them very full of contents and all you have is this little bit of like bun or bread. Feels very risky. And when you get sauces involved, things can get soggy pretty quickly, which I'm a little bit about.
My go-to sandwiches in LA are normally not chain places.
Okay, where do you go for like a good sandwich?
So I've gotten into Ghost recently.
Very like cool edgy name. It sounds like it's like there's a metal band called Ghost.
Yeah, I think Ghost Sandos is what.
Okay.
And then Giada is really good.
Okay.
and then wax paper.
What is making them, for you, what is making those a good sandwich? Is it the ingredient ratio? Is it the bread?
I think it's all of that. I think the bread is actually fresh at these places. Like once you start getting into chains and mass ingredients to make bread, I feel less confident in how fresh the bread is, especially when no matter which one you go to, it smells exactly the same and the bread looks exactly the same whether you're in Arkansas or Portland or LA.
Yeah, you do start to think like about the history of that piece of bread before it got to you.
Yeah, or just like they had to buy so much of X, Y, and Z ingredient to spread out the millions of locations around the country to get them to be the exact same.
Thinking of Pam making me little sandwiches to take to school, do kids in America, like, do they still have sandwiches? Like, would you give your kids sandwiches?
Yeah. Vinny's peanut butter and jelly
classic
sandwich guy.
A very American filler, peanut butter and jam. We also had that in New Zealand.
Well, so when you were a kid, were you adventurous eater or?
No, I feel like I wasn't. I've become a bit more so, but I still love my default. Like I find a flavor and I will just repeat that flavor.
Yeah, I was extremely picky as a child. Hot dogs without the bun, pepperoni sandwiches were my like go-to. Just bread and pepperoni only though. I don't want anything else on that.
That's so interesting because at the moment I feel like you were so adventurous. Like you go so widely. Like when did that kick in? Like did your taste buds shift and change?
I was thinking about this when we were talking about doing this episode. In my 20s is when I like discovered food and that like, oh,
there is a world out here.
Yes, and how big it is. And I like a lot of it I think was like getting into cooking shows and seeing kind of the craft behind it. And I don't know if it was just because I was at an age where I could appreciate it when I was eating these things for the first time that it got me really into it. But yeah, my mom would make like, it was bread with butter and cinnamon sugar on top.
Oh my God, that's wild. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Like as a kid, like I would hoover that shit up.
Yeah.
Is that a sandwich?
I don't think I would. That's like, I think I ate it as like a meal.
Oh my God.
But it sounds like a dessert to me.
It's funny. It's funny the myths that were around meals like as kids. Like I remember thinking orange juice was really healthy and that's how you got fruit.
Yeah.
And my parents agreed. So I ate so much juice, drank so much juice. It's not healthy. It's sugar.
Yeah.
I'm not talking even freshly squeezed.
Yeah.
I'm talking like cordial. Just the idea of like what is seen as healthy is a little bit crazy. Cereal, the other thing, like cereal marketed as being like, you can't start the day without cereal, which sounded like a good idea, but no, it's just like big brands being like, have our sugary, horrific products.
Well, and that marketing,
such a lie.
The marketing of being deceptive with how healthy, I mean, which gets us right into Subway.
Eat fresh.
Like the whole Jared thing, which, well, maybe save the whole what happens to Jared for the end of this.
I can't wait to talk about
But the idea of this man, when he came onto the scene, did you have Jared in New Zealand?
We had Jared in New Zealand.
And he was this overweight man that started eating sandwiches every day and lost weight?
I did a little bit of like digging into Jared. So Jared Fogle, 1999, he first came to sort of the public's attention. There was an article in the Indiana Daily Student written by a former dorm mate of his, basically about him losing weight because he started eating Subway sandwiches.
Oh, so this wasn't even concocted by Subway at this point?
No, this was like, so student newspaper, it jumped from there, and then, you're going to love this, a Chicago area Subway franchisee then saw that story in that paper and then took that to a Chicago advertising agency and was like, can we use this? And so it started as Chicago's to blame for Jared, essentially. Wow. In 2000, so a year after that original article, they ran a regional TV ad campaign in Chicago. First ad aired on January 1st, 2000. Great year to do things. Like everyone was freaking out that like the world would end and all the computers would turn off. But no, we just had Jared. And it basically introduced Fogle in his story with the following disclaimer. The Subway diet, combined with a lot of walking, worked for Jared. We're not saying this is for everyone. You should check with your doctor before starting any diet program, but it worked for Jared. And that test ad was such a huge success. Subway just everyone took it on and it became their national campaign. And that's what like grew Subway into this thing. And I just remember in New Zealand when I walked into a Subway, it was a cardboard cutout of Jared, and he was with his big pants, basically saying, "Yeah, because I ate Subway, I have lost so much weight. I'm healthier. These are my old pants." And that image was the one.
Yeah, I know exactly what that image was.
It's funny. I love the power of America that this thing from Chicago was suddenly making me in New Zealand think, oh my God, this is a healthy, delicious food I can eat.
Yeah, this bread and meat
yeah. And
will
cheese.
help me lose weight.
It's wild.
Yeah, it is funny also how adjacent it feels to Supersize Me. The guy that ate...
Yeah, he ate nothing but McDonald's. Who was that documentary maker?
He died recently.
He ended up, his whole other story was quite tragic and got accused of some things and passed away. Supersize Me. I mean, Supersize Me was a documentary that was one of those documentaries that just broke through. And I think, like Michael Moore's stuff, it made people go, oh my God, like it made a documentary entertaining.
These companies are lying to us?
Yeah. Yeah, and it was just huge. Morgan Spurlock. He got very, very sick. Eating McDonald's for as much as he did. Yeah, it was not good. And as someone who, I still eat McDonald's, like it was a wake-up call because you're like, oh my God, like it's horrific food. It's awful.
You should make a doc where you Morgan Spurlock Subway. Here's a pitch. Pitch for a new doc. Let's go 6 months, every day. All you eat is two sandwiches.
I think I would not do a Jared. I think I would.
That's
it would be
kind
a bad
of
time.
what I'm thinking.
I'm not going to do that. But that documentary kind of like redefined what documentary could be. Because it was like, because documentary was seen as this thing that your teacher would like roll out, your substitute teacher would make you like watch this like very generic narrator driven thing over wildlife footage. And things like Supersize Me made people go, oh, holy shit, documentary can get a point across and be entertaining. That documentary had a lot of flaws, but it was it's one of the most famous docs of all time, right?
Yeah. Well, then the other marketing thing that Subway really liked to do was they just made everything, it was the footlong. Like the fact that the measurement of the sandwich became such a marketing piece.
That very weird American measurement system you have. I mean, 30 centimeters is what we would go for.
Did they do the $5 footlong in New Zealand, even though you weren't?
We definitely adopted the foot thing. Like foot is one of your crazy American measurements that we were like, we understand the foot. It's 30 centimeters. Here it is. Yeah. So the foot long was definitely a thing.
And were you eating footlongs when you went there?
No, I would do a 6-inch.
Yeah, me too. I don't think I'd never ate a footlong.
Yeah, I've done a few footlongs since I've been in the States, and whenever I ate a footlong, I regret it.
Yeah, it's a lot of food. And then they had the party subs, which were like,
what's that?
6 to 12 feet, I think.
Oh my God.
Which they would advertise.
Would that be like one long bit of bread chopped, or was it just a bunch of 12 inches shoved together?
I think it was one long piece of bread. I don't know how they baked it.
Wow.
So maybe I'm wrong.
Again, that's very American. Yeah. Just going overboard with size.
Yes.
Like size is everything. Bigness is everything.
Well, and I think they do cut it up because it's for a party.
What kind of party is this?
American party, David. I don't know.
Just everyone shoving sandwiches in their face?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Stay tuned for more Flightless Bird. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Support for Flightless Bird comes from Bombas. Now, summer's here. I'm in Manchester right now, and I am with Rosabelle. Say hi, Rosabelle.
Hi, everyone.
What does summer mean to you? Do you like summer?
I guess summer means hot weather.
It's true. It also means you're having a break, a goal, a vibe. And look, here's a transition. Let's not let bad socks and blisters ruin it. Now, Bombas makes socks. Did you know this?
I actually noticed you were wearing Bombas socks the other day.
What do you think of them?
They looked very stylish.
For a long time, I wore ankle socks, and I learned recently that they are deeply uncool. And what I like about Bombas is they're like very long and they go up your leg. And that now with the kids is a cool thing to wear.
It's so cool that you can be cool again.
Thank you. They don't stop at socks either. They've got fresh white tees you barely have to break in and waterproof slides for the beach. Do you know what slides are? I've never heard that word.
They're like flip-flops,
I like flip-flops. You can get flip-flops there?
but with not the thong bit.
It's like a strap over the top.
The strap one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a New Zealand reference. We love thongs in New Zealand. They're also travel ready, and they make socks that make international flights bearable, as in they have compression socks. Rosabelle, do you ever use compression socks?
I have actually started using them, and I love knowing that I could get some because they're so good.
Yeah, if you want compression socks, go to Bombas. It's important. If you don't use compression socks, you can get a clot and die. Like when you've got long legs like mine, it's actually genuinely like very important to use them.
I agree. We don't want to die.
We don't want to die. And also, they don't just feel good, they do good. One purchased equals one donated to someone who needs it. That's pretty neat, right, Rosabelle? Just taking a sip of gin just then, but you got it in. You can also find Bombas abroad. Good news for you, Rosabelle. You live in New Zealand. You're in Manchester right now. This is good for you. Along with the US, they now ship internationally to over, guess how many countries?
No, tell me, how many?
200.
Wow.
So, look, let's cut to the chase. Head over to bombas.com/bird and use code BIRD for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/bird at checkout.
Bombas.com/bird and use code BIRD.
Good job, Roswell.
Thank you.
Support for Flightless Bird comes from Thrive Market. Now, lately, I've been trying to clean up the way I shop for groceries, not just for my health, but for my budget as well. I was getting tired of just standing in the aisle trying to read every ingredient label, only to end up overpaying for just a few healthy items at my local. That's when I gave Thrive Market a shot. And honestly, it's been a total game changer. I'm getting the same high quality brands I love, but for way less and without compromising my standards. Thrive Market is basically your favorite health food store, but online and way more affordable. I'm talking about premium brands like Primal Kitchen, all delivered to your door and up to 30% less than what you'd pay at traditional stores. The site's super easy to shop. You can filter by diet, like gluten-free, paleo, keto, low sugar, whatever your thing is, and you're not wasting time reading every label. And the shipping, it's fast and carbon neutral. Plus, when you sign up, you get to pick a free gift worth up to $60 with your first order, which, by the way, is a pretty great way to try something new. I've found a bunch of granola bars on there and a shampoo and conditioner that I really like. Didn't expect to find them there, but I did. I basically use it because I can find the things that I want all in the one place, and it fits my budget, which is really important to me. So, skip the junk without overspending. Head over to thrivemarket.com/bird to get 30% off your first order and a free $60 gift. That's thrivemarket.com/bird, thrivemarket.com/bird. Okay, let's play our little date we took to Subway yesterday, and then we will get into the horrificness that is Jared Fogle. Okay, so we've just pulled into a strip mall, you'd call this?
Yeah, this is the most Subway of locations. This looks exactly like every Subway that I went to as a child.
Yeah, so we have cleaners, we've got a barber shop, we've got some sort of shoe repair place, and then on the corner we have a beautiful Subway.
Yep.
Actually, I haven't actually talked with you a lot about strip malls because they are such an American thing. We don't really have this in New Zealand, and I do really appreciate that you can pull into a strip mall and there's just an assortment of quite very different, quite quirky spots, you know, so always a surprise.
How often are you in strip malls and going to multiple shops within that strip mall?
Very often not, but I'm always like surprised and always good people watching. I mean, over here there is a smoke shop where you can get cigars, CBD and cigarettes. I mean, and Kratom. Kratom's another topic we need to do. It just feels so deeply sort of American. I mean, what I like about it is it's such a leveler. Like, we're in a neighborhood here, and it's just a whole bunch of different random people coming for very different things.
There's like a relaxed, calming nature of a strip mall, I guess.
Okay, so we have differing opinions on Subway, obviously. I really enjoy a Subway sandwich. You don't so much. Can you remember your first sort of Subway experience?
I mean, I used to love Subway. There was one by my parents' house growing up, and
What changed?
that was my sandwich shop. I mean, I don't think Jared helped the cause. I think there's just been tons of news about Subway that made me realize that's not where I want to get my sandwiches from.
In New Zealand, something I always associated Subway with was like healthy eating. Like, oh, you're going to shed all these pounds, which I guess was the whole Jared campaign. I'm wondering if that was the same vibe Subway had in America. Was like you go to Subway if you want something extremely healthy and extremely fresh.
Yes, it definitely had that as the marketing push behind it, but also it's a sandwich, and it's like a lot of carbs, a lot of bread, not exactly the food that I would associate healthy eating with. Subway, like I took my road trip last summer, like we had Subway a couple times because they're everywhere. Like even picking which Subway to go closest to us, there was 11 options within 6 minutes of us.
It was insane to actually see them all peppered around. There's like way more than Starbucks.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, one good thing about being in America is that you'll never not go without a delicious Subway sandwich.
You're never too far from a Subway sandwich.
Do you have any idea what your order's going to be in there?
Yeah, I only get the same thing every time. That Baja Chipotle turkey, like, looks good in the picture.
I mean, I'm looking at the new hot honey sub. That looks pretty good to me. Sweet, spicy, so spicy. Not a very funny marketing line, but...
Yeah, I am the spicy Italian.
All right. Beautiful. Morning. Okay, I'm going to do a 6-inch hot honey chicken. I'll just do regular bread. Just white, thank you.
And then, do you want the cheddar cheese that comes with?
I will do cheddar cheese. Yes, please. And toasted would be amazing.
Some sandwiches are missing from the board. They're numbered up to 45, but I don't see 45 sandwiches.
Oh, that's interesting. There are some missing numbers.
Because my sandwich is missing. I want to see if they still have it.
I'm worried for you, Rob. I'm worried. There's fear in your eyes.
Extended menu somewhere? Do you still have the spicy Italian?
Yes, just the hot shot for the other now.
Oh, yes. Can I do no lettuce or tomato on that, though?
Look how good that looks coming out of the oven. Like the smell. I'm going to get everything in there, I think, as much as will logistically fit. There's a real art to packing the sandwich as well. I love the smell of a Subway. Hits you in the face, I'm into it.
Do you know what the smell is?
I assume it's like the bread.
Yeah. It's definitely the bread.
Rob, you're getting some little chips over here, eh?
I sure am. I think I'm going to do the sea salt and vinegar.
It's the joy of being an adult. We can eat whatever we want. I forget this sometimes. We can do whatever we want. I'm going to get a cookie. Rob, I had a dictaphone disaster. I hadn't changed the batteries, and suddenly the whole thing went offline just as you were ordering something very exciting.
They do have footlong cookies, which is a new thing. I mean, I do love Subway's obsession with the size of the sandwich.
So, like, talking about this being sort of used to be a healthy marketed place, now they've just gone footlong cookies. Like, I mean, I just feel like I love the low keyness of this place. It's just so generic, and everything's a little bit old and a bit, you know, when this first opened, it would have been such a beautiful establishment, but it all just feels a bit run down.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like this has been updated in 30 years. The decor or anything.
And that's its charm. My God, 10 out of 10. Hot honey and the chicken, chef's kiss.
10 out of 10? This is the best thing you've ever eaten?
This is incredible. Yeah. I never feel disappointed when I have a Subway sandwich. Honestly, I feel like I'm advertising them right now. I wish we were getting big money from Subway because we could like keep the show going for a decade, but I just genuinely really like all these flavors. I also have a theory that every Subway sandwich you get kind of tastes exactly the same, no matter what the contents is.
Yeah, I think that checks out.
Okay, Rob's taking a bite. He's pretending to hate it. He's actually, you've done something interesting with the chips. Or do you call them chips in America?
Yeah.
You put chips in there.
I don't love fast food vegetables. Like their lettuce, I don't normally trust. So I missed that crunch that I would normally have in a sandwich. So instead, I put chips in it.
Instead of the crunch of a lettuce leaf, it is the crunch of a delicious chip.
That's where all the foodborne illness comes from, is the, like, vegetables that have been sitting there for weeks.
Isn't it amazing how what should be this really healthy, wonderful thing is the stuff that we in America need to be like a little bit wary of?
I don't think there's much grosser than, like, soggy, wilted lettuce that gets put on fast food.
To be fair, though, I'm looking at my sub. This feels pretty... It just feels like I'm doing a commercial. It genuinely tastes quite fresh. I'm opening the cookie. It is piping hot, which is a great sign.
Looking at this packaging, they have footlong churros, footlong cookie, footlong pretzel. Somehow they've partnered with Cinnabon and Auntie Anne's, which I do like Auntie Anne's.
I don't know what that is.
You've had one with me at the outlet mall.
Oh, was that like pretzels?
Yeah.
Basically partnered with all the unhealthiest parts of American chains.
Yeah, but it is, I guess they're probably owned by the same conglomerate, would be the reason behind that. It seems surprising to me that all these people would be in bed together, but I guess probably not.
I do appreciate the doughiness of this cookie. It's like feels like it's straight out of their oven. Oh my God, it's good. It's so doughy. It's like hot dough. My God. I would say overall, as a supporter of Subway, I would say this whole experience has been, great company, great sort of homely decor, great cookie, great sub, 10 out of 10. You?
Yeah, I guess what you said. I mean, we could be eating worse.
Stay tuned for more Flightless Bird. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Support for Flightless Bird comes from Shopify. When you're online shopping, do you ever notice that purple Shop Pay button and how easy it makes buying something online? That purple button is the telltale sign that a store's powered by Shopify. And it doesn't just make it easy to buy, it makes it incredibly easy to start a business, no matter your experience. There's a reason that purple Shop Pay button is so loved. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names to brands just getting started. Shopify gives you that leg up from day dot with hundreds of beautiful, ready-to-go templates to express your brand style and forget about any code. And you can tackle all those important tasks in one place, from inventory to payments to analytics and more. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/bird. Go to shopify.com/bird, shopify.com/bird.
Parents of tweens, if you're familiar with far-off drop-offs...
Dad, stop, right here.
Or get DMs about what's for dinner, you may be experiencing tween milestones. For your son or daughter, these can start at age 9. HPV vaccination, a type of cancer prevention against certain HPV-related cancers, can start then too.
For most, HPV clears on its own. But for those who don't clear the virus, it can cause certain cancers later in life.
Embrace this phase. Help protect them in the next.
Ask their doctor today about HPV vaccination. Brought to you by Merck.
Meta AI is the personal AI to help you with whatever you need. Plus, it meets you where you are. Not only is Meta AI now an app, but it's also on the apps you already know and love. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Messenger. Plus the Ray-Ban Meta glasses. It's easy to access wherever you are. So whether you're talking or texting, Meta AI is convenient to use throughout your day. Experience our newest AI that's tailored to you by downloading the Meta AI app. Try the Meta AI app today on the Apple App Store and Google Play.
Could be eating worse. Very restrained response from you, Rob.
Yeah. I try to walk the line of not being too much of a snob about it.
You're not too much of a snob. Yeah. I could see, I know you weren't in your ideal spot.
Yeah, I don't go to Subway for lunch often.
No. Once every 2 months, I will get an urge, like I get an urge for KFC. Honestly, I have to have this sandwich today. So I guess thinking about it, reflecting on, do I like sandwiches? I don't, but at a specific time, I'll have to have a sandwich. And whenever I want one, Subway seems to deliver that hit. Again, sounds like I just am doing an ad for them.
Do we want to talk about the lettuce?
I found it pretty crunchy. You didn't experience any lettuce because you used chips instead.
Yeah. There are certain foods in chains, I think, where my pickiness as a kid comes back when I think it's when I'm eating it for the nostalgic hit, which like I'm not eating Subway because that's the best sandwich that I can get within driving distance.
You're remembering being a kid.
Yeah. So I think that happens, but I also, the idea of soggy lettuce that's been sitting in a tub for a long time grosses me out a lot.
I know what you mean. And I feel like this Subway, I think, it sounds like I'm doing that again. I think generally their lettuce is pretty crunchy, but I know that feeling of if I get any bit of vegetable in any meal that's like off,
slimy,
it's slimy, I'm like the whole thing becomes like, I can't risk having this again in a bite. So I'm going to throw the whole thing out.
Which, for the record, when you had yours with lettuce, your lettuce looked fine and fresh.
It was crunchy.
But I'm not taking that gamble.
Yeah, and so you know that instead if you insert a delicious chip from a bag that you bought separately, you don't run that risk and you still get the delicious crunch that you get from lettuce.
Exactly. I don't not like lettuce and I don't not like tomatoes.
No, you just want to be guaranteed that it is fresh.
Yes, and I don't necessarily trust where they're sourcing their lettuce. And
fair. Now, the establishment we went to was, I would say, like a very like mid-range Subway. You go to some certain parts of town, their Subways will be very shiny. This one had a bit of wear and tear. There's another Subway as well.
So we experienced this quite a bit on our road trip last summer that I took with Calvin and my dad, and the gas station Subway.
I have been to a few of these, and I don't quite know how it's happened, but you go in and you pay for your gas, and there's like the normal stuff you buy, but there's also just casually a Subway shoved inside.
This is also a big thing on tour. When I was in high school and college and would be on tour when you're around the Midwest, like you're driving in the middle of nowhere and that's your food option.
That's your one guaranteed food option.
Stopping for gas and you got to get Subway.
And also, I imagine like open some pretty crazy hours. So like you might actually get them when they're open.
Yeah, but that's probably also where the nasty lettuce is. There's something to me about the fumes of a gas station combined with fresh food.
Yeah.
That throws me off a little bit.
I think, when I think of where I want my dining experience to be, the first thought isn't gas station.
But I think there's like a thing where the like plot of land that they build a gas station on, they can't put anything at for a certain period of time because of...
Right. Just things leaching and smells getting stuck into things.
So when you see like a closed down gas station, it sits there for a long time.
Now you say that, I think of a bunch of closed down gas stations, even back in New Zealand, that just sat there for a very long time.
And I don't know the specifics of it, but I think they're not allowed to really build on that for a while. So then
you're right.
Couple that with, do I want to eat a sandwich that has been sitting out on this location?
There's definitely been like a few kind of food controversies around Subway, and I kind of feel sorry for them in a way, because if you're a franchisee and you run your restaurant like beautiful, top notch, and then some other sub run by some other franchisee gets some terrible headline, you were like instantly marred with that, right?
Or if the face of your marketing campaign gets caught with a bunch of
child porn. It's a bad vibe. So just before Jared came on board, September 99, 32 customers in Seattle contracted hepatitis A after eating food contaminated at 2 different Subway outlets. So that was like a big scandal at the time. Class action lawsuit on behalf of 31 victims was resolved for, like, not a lot actually, like 1.6 million. But that was like a very big thing. Another big controversy was around the length of the sandwich. I just came across this in January of 2013. An Australian teen, Matt Corby, complained on Facebook that Subway's footlong sandwich was actually only 11 inches long.
Which, when you're baking bread, like, what? Bread shrinks
and expands.
It shrinks and expands. Like, to be having to, I guess,
You're defending Subway here.
It's their own fault, though, for
completely.
Calling it that.
Subway responded by saying, with regards to the size of the bread and calling it a footlong, Subway footlong is a registered trademark as a descriptive name for the sub sold in Subway restaurants and is not intended to be a measurement of length. Which is like, what? Okay, Jared. Something very dangerous about sinking your entire image into an actual human man.
Yeah, real person.
A real person, because real people they're wild cards and you don't know what they're going to do. And in Jared's case, I think probably did the worst thing a front person could do and was caught with a bunch of child pornography. I mean, can you imagine the Subway meetings, like head office, the PR firms going? I mean, that would have been an insane day.
Yeah, it's absolute worst case.
Do you remember that happening? That news story
I remember
breaking?
headlines. I remember like photos from outside his house on the news articles.
So rough. So already said this earlier. 1999, he did his article in a local paper about getting thin. 2000, they tested the ads. Then they went everywhere. He appeared in advertising campaigns for 15 years, starting in the year 2000. 300 commercials, so 300 different shoots for Subway. So he is their thing. In 2002, you knew how big he was because he got his own South Park episode.
Yep.
It was called Jared Has AIDS. He basically announces he lost weight because he has AIDS. And the joke was he meant AIDS like people helping me, like AIDS. But of course, the joke, everyone thought Jared has AIDS. So it's like, that was the whole thing.
This was pre
things happening. Okay, so first thing that sort of led to his downfall in 2004. So 4 years of being their main kind of face, he established the Jared Foundation. Also love naming a foundation after you. It's like, I'm going to start the David Foundation.
Yeah.
It was a nonprofit focused on raising awareness about childhood obesity, which was his whole thing.
Is he maybe the most famous Jared at the time?
I would say, yeah.
Jared Leto.
Yeah, that's probably. Are there any other Jareds now?
Oh, Jared Padalecki, Jared Allen, football player.
Okay.
For some reason, Drake Bell is listed here because his first name is Jared.
Okay.
Drake Bell.
I'm looking through famousbirthdays.com. I don't recognize any of these Jareds.
Jared Kushner.
God. There's not a lot. I mean, yeah, Jared from Subway he was a big deal.
Just wanted to establish the Jared Foundation couldn't have been maybe confused for
more reasonable than starting the David Foundation.
Yeah. That was more what I was trying to.
So he did that established that in 2004. 2006, he wrote his big book called Jared the Subway Guy, Winning and Losing, 13 Lessons for Turning Your Life Around, which has a lot of 1-star reviews on Amazon.com. Weirdly, looking through a few reviews like recently of people reading it and really enjoying it and like still seemingly unaware of like his background.
Wild. Yeah, that's wild. Of people finding the book and not realizing.
Someone that bought this recently as a lifetime dieter, this is an Amazon review, as a lifetime dieter, I didn't think I'd be able to learn much from a college kid who lost weight. I mean, this sounds like a bot review, to be honest.
Yeah.
Learn much from a college kid who lost weight by eating only sub sandwiches, but I was so wrong. In fact, I was astounded by how much I related to his story. This must be a bot review. That can't be a real human.
Who's buying bot reviews for Jared's biography?
I wonder who's making money from Jared's biography right now. Is he still getting like kickbacks from that,
or
is
Jared
that going
Foundation
back to Subway?
Still exist?
The foundation does not exist. Okay, so in 2015, the director of the Jared Foundation, so one of Jared's employees, Russell Taylor, was arrested in Indianapolis on charges of child exploitation, possession of child porn, and voyeurism. So basically his employee was the first to go down, and that is how they started involving Jared in the investigation.
So this is saying he was worth roughly $15 million at that point.
Russell Taylor, his employee, went down. But then also way back in 2007 was the first time that Jared came to his name came to state and federal law enforcement agency. because a journalist and radio host at the time told the Sarasota Police Department that Jared had made lewd comments about middle-aged girls. So this was kind of bubbling around 2007. So when his employee went down in 2015, the police already had Jared on their radar. And they basically found out that he and his employee were both sort of in cahoots. In 2015, the FBI raided his Zionsville, Indiana residence and arrested Jared on charges of distribution and receipt of child porn. It's all pretty horrific. So just reading from the press release that justice.gov put out, he was sentenced after being convicted of distributing and receiving child porn and traveling in interstate commerce to engage in unlawful commercial sex acts with minors. Fogle was 38 at the time. He was sentenced to 188 months. That's 15 and a half years in federal prison.
That's all he got.
That's all he got. For, a lot of material that he'd gotten off his employee. So his employee had been, was the one that had all this material.
Yeah.
He then gave a lot of it to Jared. Jared had that on his computer.
But
and then Jared also traveled. Yeah, also traveled to engage in sex with a minor, a female minor. All this stuff is so awful. And Jared tried to put it all off on the other guy, but he was very much mixed up in the entire thing.
So 15 years?
15 and a half years.
15 and a half. So when is he?
So he is going to get out. Earliest possible date is March 24th, 2029, which isn't that far away. And he is going to be, everyone knows Jared, so that's going to be a weird life. He's already been beaten up in prison a few times. Being out of prison is going to be a very awful experience. He also seems like, not to state the obvious, but like he's kind of just a freaking idiot. In 2017, he tried to get all his convictions quashed. Do you know the whole sovereign citizen movement? So sovereign citizens, it came out a lot during COVID. It's a group of kind of deranged conspiracy theorists saying the law does not apply to us. They think they've got like a legal loophole where they're like, I am a sovereign citizen. You cannot arrest me. You cannot tell me what to do. And so he used the sovereign citizen argument to try and get off all the charges. The judge was like, shut up. You're a pedophile. Go back to prison.
Yeah. His wife divorced him at that point. He was married.
Yeah. In 2022, he wrote
I like that there's
a letter.
Updates about Jared.
Yeah, he wrote a letter in 2022.
You're gonna read it?
Not gonna read it because screw that guy.
Yeah,
he's trying to get the public on his side, get sympathy.
Yeah.
So screw that guy. So that is the subway disaster, and I'm curious here in 2025 if that's still sitting in the back of people's minds, or it doesn't sit in my mind. Like until I started thinking about this episode, I'd kind of forgotten about Jared.
Yeah.
And I think most people probably have.
No, I still think about it when, I mean, I don't know if that's just because we're just annoying liberals that like,
we both are.
Chick-fil-A, like I don't like to eat at because I know their stance.
Yeah. Horrible anti-LGBTQI.
Yeah. And even Jimmy John's, which I mentioned earlier, like the owner of that, there's like all these pictures of him as like a big game hunter. So like I've thought twice when looking, I want a sandwich and like, do I want to pick this place or that place?
Yeah. Yeah, that all comes into your mind. And I guess in some way, Subway enabled Jared and gave him resources to do a bunch of shit. You know?
Well, I mean, I guess that's what makes it a little trickier. He's not profiting on it anymore.
No.
Like he's not an employee of Subway. He was in someone endorsing the brand hired to.
Completely.
So it changes things.
Yeah, I think ethically you're fine to eat at Subway.
Yeah.
It's not like Subway hired this guy knowing his background. Right. That would be a whole other situation.
They seem to be doing fine too. There's still a lot of Subway locations.
It's a big chain.
Yeah. I did forget sandwich chain in Chicago.
Oh.
Potbelly's.
That sounds not particularly healthy.
It was great though. It still exists.
What's their vibe? Like,
I think the original one's out of an old fire station.
Okay.
And it's big hearty sandwiches and soup and...
Yeah, right. You support it.
I support it. They got some giardiniera that they put on their sandwiches too. You know about giardiniera?
I don't know what that is.
All right.
I'm going to find out in Chicago.
You are.
Okay, I can't wait. It's the fastest growing franchise in the world.
Still.
As of 2015, it's slowed down. As of 2023, a couple of years ago, it has 37,000 locations in more than 100 countries. So it's doing okay. But yeah, I would say if you are thinking of having a brand, don't base it all on one dude, because dudes often do terrible, shitty things. And Jared is a shining example of that.
So you're just saying, like, blanket, don't ever have a person endorse your brand?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, bad when we are
Let's
like
do an ad break
the
really
face
quick.
It's so good. I mean, we kind of are stuck. But if you've got a brand that doesn't have to have a face,
I think that's a bad. I don't think.
You don't think you can put a person in front of your brand?
You can. I think that's totally, like, it's worked out fine with Michael Jordan.
If there's a reason, like Michael Jordan is an amazing player, right? Like you're watching him. If you've got a brand, like McDonald's has like this generic like clown, right? He's not. If Ronald McDonald isn't like a man, like imagine if McDonald's went out and found an actual clown, like a man. You're like, that's Harold the clown. That's the McDonald's guy.
I mean,
that would be dangerous.
Ronald McDonald.
Was he ever a real like one guy though?
I mean, I'm sure originally it was one guy.
Okay, Ronald McDonald.
I think most people aren't going to turn out to be child porn sex traffickers.
This is very true. That was worst possible scenario. Yeah. But I also think it's not worth the risk. Like, if a person is flawed, like what other brand has a person?
Well, like a lot of brands have people that are
like Geico, like AT&T, Ryan Reynolds.
AT&T has Milana Vaintrub, the AT&T woman.
No, I mean, maybe there are. Okay, so there are people that are like the face of a brand.
Yeah, I think there's a lot. I think what gets interesting and tricky when you become like Allstate has the one guy.
There's an Allstate guy.
There's an Allstate guy.
Okay, oh no, I'm wrong then.
Yeah.
I just haven't noticed any of these guys. Yeah. So a lot of people do this.
A lot of people do this.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's a little different when it's here's this guy's story. Like a lot of people that are the face of things are characters
They're
still.
Actors.
Yes, they're actors and they're characters that are this thing, like the Allspice guy.
Right, that's right. He's this actor. Yeah. Maybe that's the advice. Don't get a real random guy.
Also don't hate the let's have a normal person representing this brand. If like,
maybe that's a good thing.
You want like the every person to be the representation of your brand. That's not a bad thing either.
This is true.
Like personal brands, I think, are also fine.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, you're proving me wrong on this. I think I was like too far down the anti-Jared bandwagon and thinking like you should just have no one fronting your thing. But it's fucking everywhere, and also not everyone is a pedophile.
Yes.
That's the lesson we learned from today's.
Not everyone's a pedophile, David.
Lesson we learned from today's podcast. So yeah, Subway, aka Eat Fresh.
Eat Fresh.
If you have eaten at Subway recently, if you had a good or terrible experience,
take a picture.
You
with your
email
sandwich,
us.
send it to us, tag us in it.
Flightlessbirdchat@gmail.com. Doing a Lady and the Tramp, eating from either end of a footlong, that kind of thing.
We missed out doing that.
Oh, we did. We'll have to go back again. Okay, feedback. Love reading all your emails to flightlessbirdchat@gmail.com. Dawn, she wrote in. This is a flashback to our opossum episode from quite a long time ago now. She said she was on a walk and she heard what sounded like a sneezing sound coming from the bushes near someone's driveway. That's baby creepy. Possum was wandering around, looking confused and scared. I knew from your Flightless Bird episode that the mum wouldn't be coming back, so I called the San Diego Humane Society, which she Googled to find. Within 30 minutes, a friendly officer arrived. She informed me that the sneezing sound was a baby possum trying to communicate, looking for his mum. The officer assessed him, put him in a padded carrier, and took him to the rehab center. Everyone was happy. Please see these pics, and she included a very cute photo of the baby possum. If you ever find a baby possum, just call your local rehab and someone will come and help. The Tops episode is still getting just endless feedback. Whitney said, the entire time I was trying to ignore the bins looming in my closet. Backstory, my last partner had a bit of a problem. probably a bit of wonderment thrown in there, probably some hope that it was an investment for later. Unfortunately, he passed away unexpectedly, and I was left clearing out an entire collection of cards, signed baseballs, autographed mini football helmets, you name it. I gave away several to fans of particular teams, but right now my husband persuaded me not to give everything away, so it's in a slightly smaller bin. I have to say, these only have value for people who value them, and maybe it's time, after listening to your episode, to revisit the bin and find a way to get rid of some of the stuff that I don't have a love of and give them into the hands of people who do. I thought that was a nice sentiment. Amber wrote in about our live Portland episode where we talked Oregon Trail. I grew up in a small town in Ontario, Canada in the 80s. We only had one Macintosh computer for several classes to share, so you had to sign up for your turn to get to play the newest game, Oregon Trail. When my turn finally came, I went into the hall, logged onto the computer, entered my details and the names of those who were taking the trek across the country to Oregon. Being an 8-year-old girl in grade 3, I chose the first people who came to mind, my family members. Really sweet. I can't remember all of the details of my family's adventures that day as I navigated them to Oregon, but the vivid memory I do have is sobbing in the hallway after having killed my entire family, including my baby brothers. As the bell rang, my classmates ran into the hall. I quickly turned off the computer, wiped away my tears, and pretended not to be upset by a computer game. I never played Oregon Trail again.
Yeah, as soon as she said that, I was like, all right, they're all dying.
I love someone having such an emotive response to that game.
Yeah.
Like, because she as an 8-year-old, you're like invested.
Yeah.
So that's my baby brother. They just died from dysentery. Corin. Or is it Corrine? One of those. This is in regards to our Blockbuster episode. When I was a kid, we rented Willow on VHS. I was watching it alone in our basement. There was a scene with a cat, and I was so delighted that I kept rewinding to see the cat again. After a few times, the screen went all screwy and the tape stopped. Panicking, I pushed the eject, but nothing happened. Push rewind, no luck. It was completely jammed. Kids these days have such easy access to cat content, they don't have the appreciation of what some of us had to put at risk for some cool cat entertainment. I think that's a really good point. Shit was hard to find back then, and if you found it on a VHS, it was like, oh my God, here it is.
Do you remember recording things on VHS from TV?
Oh, yeah.
The first bit when we were doing it was on like a big camcorder.
Amazing.
A big camera.
Yeah.
That you would plug into the TV.
Yeah.
And just hit record.
Uh-huh.
And then they finally made VCRs that you could record and schedule, right?
Yeah. Our VHS player didn't have a schedule system built in, but I would, because X-Files aired at 9:30 in New Zealand, and I was allowed to watch the first half hour until 10 p.m. And then I hit record on the VHS, went to bed, desperately wanting to know what was going to happen, and then I'd wake up early in the morning before school and watch it back.
That sounds very much like you.
I mean, it's so funny, like, kids don't know how lucky they are being able to watch. Like, we used to have to sit down at a certain time to watch a show.
Yeah, well, and do you remember when TiVo came?
What was that? You could record like on a hard drive?
It was like the first one, at least here, where you could just like record and scheduled TV.
We had this network in New Zealand called Sky, and they sold boxes that let you record stuff. And I remember being in awe of that.
That was like only the rich families had the TiVo, because I think there was like, you pay for the box, and then there was also the subscription, the monthly cost of it.
Yeah. So much money to be made off that. It also makes me think, like, we were talking before, like, we've both been watching Last of Us, right?
Yeah.
We love that show. I've been just waiting for the rehearsal. And I think something special about some of those shows is, same with White Lotus, is it comes out on a certain time every week. And that is part of the like excitement of how TV used to be.
Eventizing, watching it is still like, we still do that with like Survivor. It's like Wednesday night. Like
reality does that so well, right?
Although it does get really annoying watching it live, because then you have to sit through the commercials.
like we used to.
Yep.
When we were kids. Another great thing about recording stuff on VHS, you could fast forward through the commercials if you watched it the next day.
Yes. But I also feel like because people can fast forward through commercials now and they know that a lot of people are just recording it, they've made them so often in so many commercials now.
Right, they're interrupting so much of the experience.
It's crazy. So it feels different. Maybe it's just because we've gotten spoiled and don't normally have to have commercials, but it feels like a crazy amount of commercial breaks.
I think it's definitely a thing. I get that in my viewing experiences.
Yeah, so now you have to do the thing where you start it like an hour later than it airs so that you can fast forward through that part.
My God. Jessica wrote in about collector's cards as well, and I thought this was really fascinating. One thing that surprised me and wasn't covered by you guys is the tension around breakers and hoarders. Do you know about this?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so breakers are folks who open sealed boxes live on platforms like Fanatics Live and sell off the cards. It's a huge part of the hobby now. And people believe they're getting, these breakers are getting an unfair edge. A few weeks ago, Topps, which is owned by Fanatics, voluntarily hired KPMG to run an independent audit after people accused them of sending loaded boxes, basically giving better cards to sponsored breakers, celebrities, and athletes. The audit predictably cleared them, but because it was voluntary and commissioned by Topps, collectors are still skeptical.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by this whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, the whole like internet incorporation into trading cards now, we were more talking about
totally
old-time collecting.
I just
interesting
love learning about like the culture that goes so deep. She went on, KPMG's report didn't say loaded boxes definitely don't exist, just that there was no evidence that Topps intentionally distributes them to specific people. Personally, I get both sides. If someone opens a ton of product, of course they'll get more hits. Probability is on their side. But at the same time, breakers and big resellers grab so much inventory that it limits access for casual collectors or kids just getting started.
I mean, that just made me want to be a breaker so that Topps would send me all the best cards.
Should we pivot Flightless Bird into like a breaking channel where we're just like opening cards all day?
At the end of every episode, we're going to have a box of Topps cards that we're going to open up. So if Topps, you want to send us cards.
That are fully loaded with amazing cards.
Take some fully loaded
We won't
cards.
tell anyone that you're doing it, but it's going to help our channel. Jen wrote in, I have the distinction of having a wonderful, sweet grandma, Grace, who loves collecting things. And in this case, she gifted me and my brother each a complete set of the Desert Shield trading cards from both the first and second series. She organized them all in card protectors and in numerical order. What makes me laugh is the idea of my little 4-foot, 8-inch grandma buying these packets, sorting through the duplicates, organizing what she had and pining for what she didn't. There are generals, flags, military shields, tanks, weapons, and various aircraft. This was a mission all on her own, and she didn't gift them to us until the sets were fully complete.
Wow. Wonder if she picked them because she was interested in them as cards, or she was like, my grandkids would love these.
I think it sounds like she's just like, they will love these.
That's very, very endearing and sweet.
It's so pure. It's always remained a funny, odd little thing to me, but she was determined and thorough, and I love her so much because of it. This took her time and money producing 2 full sets of these. It was not a realization I had as a kid when she gave them to us, but a revelation as a grown-up. She's long since passed, so we'll not be able to question her about why exactly she got started, like what was the first card, what was the most difficult to find. I was around 10 at the time, but every now and then I like a chance to share with others the absolute uniqueness of the collection.
My dad, there was a period where the quarters, they were putting every state on the back. So it became like collect all the states, and every like couple years the new states would come out.
Yeah. And
my dad at one point was collecting 4 sets for all of us of
that is
all
so
the different
kind, Rob.
states. There was like a map that had like little slot for every state with the quarter.
Where did he get them from? Like
it's just like
Just whenever he had a quarter, he'd check.
He would check the back and be like, oh, I don't have the New York one yet.
My dad does the same thing. So when I was a kid, Jurassic Park came out, there were a series of stickers that you'd get from the gas station.
Mm-hmm.
And he painstakingly would drive like it wasn't the closest gas station.
Yeah.
Fuck parents. Like, you give parents such shit, but they do such cool things for you. Like we're so lucky.
Yeah.
He went and collected me that whole set of Jurassic Park stickers. And now he's doing the same thing for my 4 nieces, where he goes around and gets like supermarkets put out like little collecting things and he'll collect for them.
I remember too, he collected like old pennies too. Of like, you'd check the year and be like, this was from 1903. And
the care is like, it's funny. I hadn't, when I was reading Jen's story about her grandma, I didn't clock that my dad was essentially doing like the same thing for me.
Yeah.
Man.
I gotta get ahead of this and start collecting some things for the boys.
You got to figure out what it's going to be.
Not gonna be quarters.
He'll probably be some like
Bitcoin,
little Bitcoin, some like online like game stuff as well. So like some virtual axes and things for your kids like video game.
Where's Minecraft?
So yeah, thanks as always. Love your feedback. Flightlessbirdchat@gmail.com. Flightlessbirdpod.com has our live tickets for Denver and Chicago. Hope to see you there.
July 3rd and July 10th.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's coming up.
Taxidermists in either places.
Yeah,
reach out.
Touch. We want to decorate our set. All right, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.